Hey, hope everybody's having a pretty good day. So, this is what I'm thinking. I definitely want to continue to make like long form videos, like my very first video, but it does take a lot of time and a lot of energy, and I'm juggling a whole bunch of things, like most people, work and working on other projects, you know. So I do have a lot of opinions about stuff that I hear or see or look at daily that I would like to chime into and give my point of view. And I don't necessarily think that making a long form video is the way to go about it. So I'm looking at also mixing doing videos like this that's really just kind of stripped down and going to be a lot shorter. Excuse me. That's my dog is sneezing. Just like me, allergies. But that's a lot shorter and a lot more stripped down, and it'll probably be stuff that was talked about within the last 2 or 3 days, and they're going to be very basic videos and not too many, not really much editing it, anything like that. I'm still trying to figure out my style, and I'm also trying to get used to hearing my voice. That is the weirdest shit ever. I mean, I don't know. If you, it's like, yeah, it's weird hearing yourself, and I've never really been comfortable with my voice, and so I kind of change it when I'm at work. But after a day of that, I'm over it. But so yeah, these videos aren't going to be necessarily fact based or anything like that. This is more just my opinion and what I'm thinking and what I'm leaning to. So let's start with Joey. Whether he's from New York, Texas, Florida, paid actor, caca father, we don't really know, right? But I do have the opinion that he has just met Liv. He's not Kaka's father. And the reason is Liv is completely hollow and void inside, but she is at the same time, she's very self-centered, and she just talks about herself and her looks. And not one time, unless I missed it, which very well could be, have I heard her talk about the way she looks now in context with the way she would have looked 3 years ago when her and Joey would have first been together. I have not heard her say, "Oh, don't I look so much skinnier, Joey? I'm not, I'm so much more hot now, Joey. Oh, you could toss me around," and she's hyper sexual or inappropriate or whatever, and she hasn't said anything in reference to like before and now. And as much as she's been talking about how she looks now and things like that nature, that would be something I would expect to be just normal, even if it wasn't Liv and it was just like a normal human being, because she's not a normal human being. She's really not. You were like, yeah, don't I look so much different? I don't even know how you would, it's different. She would say something, but she hasn't said anything. And so I feel like maybe he was almost catfish. I don't think he's like hyper aware of her YouTube. I don't think he was sitting around watching. He might have been aware of it, but not spending time sitting around watching it. Now, if he was in jail, work release, whatever, maybe they met through Facebook, because she has a ton of photos on Facebook. So he'd been beating his meat for 2 years looking at her filtered photos on Facebook. Then she flies him out. He get flued out like a little thought. And he meets her. And it's like, ugh. It's not what he was expecting. And then, of course, the smell. That'll knock anybody off this shit. So I'm thinking maybe that might be what's going on. Once again, just my thoughts. I would love to hear your opinions. But it just seems weird. She had to reference her looks from then to now. Talking to him or talking about him As far as Liv getting a job, I think the fabulous Antoneisha Webb, mother of 3, has forced the surrogate to get a job, but it's not for the reasons we think. I think Liv is wanting to get a job and start paying child support, not because she has grown a conscience. That's never going to happen. She's never going to be a person with empathy. She's never going to be a decent person. She's set in stone. She's a narcissist. She doesn't feel like we feel. She's never going to get that her being a parent and paying child support, don't matter if you're the father or mother, is not paying it to the other parent. It's paying to your children. It's your child's birthright. You know, you want every child to have loving parents, caring parents, and also parents that financially supports them. That's, you know, courts can't enforce whether you love them, whether you treat them good, but they can enforce that you financially support them. That's the only thing they can really enforce. And it's your child's birthright. So even if one of the parents made more money, it still doesn't matter. I mean, is her children college funds paid up? Do they have investments? Do they have savings put away for the purchase of their first home or first car? You know, is she paying for things that enrich them, like trips and educational and athletic opportunities? All of that goes into raising well-rounded children. That's her response. Even if she never even saw her kids, she still is financially responsible for them. So why would she be wanting to get a job? I don't believe she had court. I've seen zero evidence of it. I've seen zero court dates. And yes, it would be public because probation is criminal. It's not a private court matter involving a criminal activity of a minor. Even though she has minor children, probation is criminal. It would be public. I haven't seen any court dates. The reason she wants to get a job is because you have to put yourself in her place. She's childlike. She's really dumb. And it takes her a long time to figure things out. She wants Robin. She has made that very, very clear. She wants Robin, and in her childlike mind, she thinks 12-year-olds get to decide where they're going to live. As adults, we know that's not true. In Texas, 12-year-olds have a right, and it would be taken into consideration where they want to live. Consideration by the courts. They don't dictate where they're going to live. If a 12-year-old want to live with a abusive mother that's neglectful and have men running in and out of her house, you know, the courts are probably going to be like, nah, that's not happening. That's what adults do. That's an adult decision. That's not the kicker. The kicker is Antoneisha, the fabulous Antoneisha, mother of 3, Mrs. Webb, is holding child support over Liv's head like the sword of Damocles. So Liv finally woke up to the fact, well, she's going to turn 12. I'm going to get my daughter. Well, it's going to take a court order for that. So you have to petition the courts for a hearing. Well, Mrs. Webb, fabulous mother of 3, is not going to do that for the surrogate. And Gerard is not going to do that for the surrogate mother. Liv has realized she is going to have to do that. And she has figured out if she goes in the court saying, I want my daughter, it's not going to stop there. It's going to be some questions of, you're over $50,000 behind in child support. If you couldn't pay child support during all this time, how are you going to pay to take care of your daughter now? Where is our money? Checkmate. She's fucked. So she wants to get a job and start paying some child support so she can get Robin. That's all it is. It's a power play. She doesn't love Robin. She's not capable of love, but she wants to use Robin as a tool to get to Gerard. All right. Please let me know in the comments what y'all think about that. All right, topic 3 is live interaction with men and interaction with her children. I'm gonna leave just the complete insanity of how Liv allow her children to be exposed to men, random dudes or whatever. I'm gonna leave that out. I'm gonna talk about the men. So as a man, I would never be physically disciplining some chick that I'm just hooking up with or just getting with or like. I would never put myself in that position. I would never be bathing some chick's kids. I would never put myself in that position where she could say something or the child's father could say something. I mean, it's dumb. And so for guys that do that, they're not self-aware of, and they're not, there's something really lacking in them. They're not good decision makers. And if people aren't good decision makers, they probably shouldn't be, having your kids near water. But the ideal of if I met a woman and was kicking it with her and then she asked me to bathe her children, I'd be like, fuck no. That would be the weirdest thing to me. That would say to me, that would tell me, yeah, something wrong with her. I gotta be careful because, she ain't that bright. And so for these dudes to be disciplining them and bathing the kids, something is wrong with them. There's something wrong with them. Most dudes, we don't do shit like that. We know better. And because as a guy, you have to look at perceptions. Like, oftentimes you meet kids or whatever, they really like you. They'll wrap their arms around your leg and, they just want to love on you and everything like that. But you have to think, what people from a distance, what does it look like? Or what might they be thinking? And it is just the way it is. Just go with being a fucking man. So I've been around kids and, they trying to love on you. They just happy to see you, whatever. I'm not related to them. I don't know them like that. And you have to think about perception. They wrap their arms around your leg. Well, if they're really short, no big deal. If they're older and taller, no big deal. But if they're about the height of your crotch, you want to deflect that. You don't want some kid just hanging on your leg and your dick in their face. I mean, I'll just be real with you because it don't look right, especially, to strangers from a distance. So you don't say, oh, stop it and make a big scene. It's better to pick them up or hold them up in the air and play with them and make them laugh. It's better to grab their hands and swing their hands back and forth. But you just have to be aware of things like that. You know what I mean? And so at a minimum, these guys aren't good decision makers, clearly. And yeah, that's my opinion about that also. It's really bad idea. Any man should know that, I tell you, I was dating a woman one time, and she had a son. I think when we met, he was maybe 4, and she had an older daughter, maybe 13. And she was really, really busy. I think she was working on her second master's at that time, and she worked in a financial industry. But me and her son used to hang out. And, sometimes she was like, can you pick him up for school? Can you take him to practice or whatever? And, I had my own shop, so I had a little bit more flexibility. And I was like, yeah, cool. And so, me and him would go fishing and do things. And we would ride a lot. I had a low rider then. So me and him used to go cruising a lot. And I know several years into the relationship, or after the main part of the relationship ended, I believe, we was talking about something. I don't know if I brought it up or she brought, I don't know. We're talking about something, and she told me that when we got together, whatever, and me and her son started hanging out, that she told him if I ever touched him or did anything inappropriate, and she would talk to him, and she talked to her daughter, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. And I was like, what the fuck? Are you serious? And she like, yeah. And I was just stunned for about 15 seconds. And I'm like, yeah, that's good. That makes sense. That makes perfectly good sense. Yeah, you should. She like, yeah, I would talk to him every so often, once a year with her. And I was like, yeah, no, I totally get it. At first I was stunned, but I was shocked. But then, I thought I wasn't offended. I mean, that was just something. That's one other thing that showed me what kind of woman she was and how she loved her family and how smart she was. And that's a conversation I don't think Liv will ever have with AJ about all these random men that she bring around and say, look, if they touch you inappropriately and show them, and teach them about what touching inappropriately and stuff like that. I don't think she would ever be bothered to do that, to arm them with the knowledge of how to protect herself and get help if they need it. Nah, I don't think she would do that. So I think that was like 3 topics right there. I know my thumbnails are going to be trash for a little while. I will actually work on it. I know thumbnails are actually hugely important. It's the most important thing. And people sleep on thumbnails, but it's like selling dope. I don't care how good your dope is. If people don't know about it, you're not going to sell it. So you could be having engaging conversations or talking about something really interesting, but if the thumbnail don't catch people's eye, they'll never click on it. So I'm definitely aware of that. Now I will get better. I'm just trying to balance a lot of different things. Also, if you have a topic or you hear something you kind of want me to cover or give my opinion, I would definitely be paying attention. If I could ask for a favor, I really don't have any social media. I'm an introvert and, I just kind of do my own thing. So if I make a video or something like that, please share it if you would, if you really like it, if you could share it, that would be very helpful. And yeah, I definitely want to do some more stuff. Got some things cooking and I do have some things figured out. And the very next thing I'm gonna do is